Here's a question for you.
John's going to have a war room in his house.
It is actually about war.
Yeah.
It's a question about war.
What is it good for? Nothing.
I reckon he's going to put up a shrine in his war room for you now. It's like a common enemy.
Things are starting to tip in your balance, dude.
Just below your picture is a scabbard.
Things are tipping your way.
Pretty good.
Just need to know your thoughts on a pincer attack, and things might work out.
You're fucked.
No,
How would you defend against one?
The key to Springfield's always been Elm Street. The Greeks knew it. The Carthaginians knew it. Now you know.
Elm Street. It didn't even exist, and the Carthaginians know it. Oh, freaking hell. I've been watching a few, when everything started up with Palestine and Israel, yeah?
No, I love it.
With war.
Here it comes.
No. It was interesting because, the general consensus is war crimes exist.
Yes.
Yes. I saw multiple podcasts.
Online newsreels.
Yes. Online news medias.
Yeah.
Fairly centrist.
You're talking about the Young Turks.
Well, multiple, which with no relation to each other as well, stated that there's no such thing as a war crime during war.
That's rubbish.
That is rubbish.
I've been mulling it over because because I'm of that same thought as well.
Wait. Is it rubbish because this day and age we would be horrified to see the things?
That's what I'm coming hard to. That's what I can't. Yeah,
that is interesting
because during war, anything is supposed to be permissible
to win.
Yeah, but they're considered war crimes. They're considered war crimes because
live to win till you die. In a Paul Stanley reference.
I want him at the front of my army.
Dude, Paul Stanley pulls out the makeup.
Yes, pulls out a microphone stand.
So I mean,
love good. You might forget me, baby. No time to lie.
Continue.
Sorry. Paul Stanley.
like you were saying, they'd be considered war crimes nowadays.
Yeah.
Now, we know they're war crimes because they have the Geneva Convention. They have all these documents put together. Yeah. But I kind of touched on it.
And we're kind of conditioned to be like, that's bad.
Yeah, it's bad. But the people who wrote these things are the countries that did it to each other during World War I and II.
Yeah.
The European countries. So it was because it affected them the most. And I kind of touched on it. It was like I was...
Should we guess the Jews? Nine. No.
And it's like, well, countries outside Europe could probably think their own way about, landmines are fine, gassing people is fine, bio warfare, stuff like that.
Oh, yeah, that was one of the warnings about Tajikistan. There are mines everywhere. Legit. That was an actual warning. There was an actual warning.
We got dinner tonight.
There is landmines everywhere. So
you got set up as your probate, Tim.
You're a dickhead. Continue.
So basically, that's what they've been saying, and I'm like, okay. And then I'm like, all right, let me mull it over. I can't come to a conclusion yet, because then I'm like, well, dropping a nuke would obviously be considered a war crime. Obviously,
it's an unfair advantage.
Yes, but it's been done.
Yeah.
Why was it done?
Because it's an unfair advantage.
No.
It's an easy win. Should we send the troops in? No. I got this one.
I got the BFG.
Push the button.
So it was done.
What do you mean you don't agree with me? You know who you were dealing with?
So it was done because they weighed up the death to kill ratio that it will cost America to invade Japan. Mm-hmm. The whole country was nationalized. The whole country was full balls deep into nationalism.
Yeah.
They were willing to live and die for the emperor, for the whole country, everything. They pretty much came to realize that the whole country would be armed and they would have to fight for every centimeter of the country.
Yeah.
So the amount of losses that would be taken...
You know what they needed? They needed Al Pacino. to giving one of his Any Given Sunday speeches.
Yeah, that's true.
You fight for that inch! That's football. What? Anyway, just pick a go.
You know we're going to war.
And so then it was like, well, all right. We don't really want to.
5 inches in front of your face.
We don't really want to have to do that. So, all right, what are our options? We can keep firebombing them at night. And you looked into that. And that was considered the most inhumane way to kill people.
Yeah.
Because all these cities were like made of wood and paper.
Yeah.
So as soon as one firebomb dropped, a couple of bombings, the whole
Spreads.
city just
Yeah.
spreads. People are melting. People are just dying at left, right, center. They said that they could smell them from the planes as they're flying over. They
Yeah.
could smell the people burning.
That's fucked.
Yeah. It got so hot that they had to make sure the doors were closed on the bottom from where they were dropping.
Really?
Because it was just so hot. Yeah. Something like that.
Because it was chem warfare fire. It wasn't
No,
fire
it was just
fire.
no,
It
it was
wasn't
just
napalm. They actually used bioengineered chem warfare for it.
In Japan.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was like
hard to say. I don't know.
there was an operation something. I read into this,
Yeah.
but they were dropping a special chemical.
Possibly
with it.
So
That
it
just-
burned longer.
like-
yeah.
yeah.
It could have been the type of. I think it might have been the pre-thingo to napalm. Possibly. I can't
Possibly,
remember.
yeah. But that was the one that was banned.
Napalm was engineered for Vietnam, wasn't it?
I think so.
Yeah, I'm
There
pretty
wasn't
sure.
really mass use before that.
Do you know Greek fire? You heard about
Yeah,
Greek
on
fire?
the water.
They're pretty sure that's what napalm was,
Yeah.
but they just can't replicate it because they don't know what was in it.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It's just too hard to
It was
figure out.
moonshine.
It's just moonshine.
You're lucky.
Some dickhead was drunk. He just spilled it on the water, then threw a dart out.
Yeah.
So they actually considered. So they came to the conclusion that dropping two So they actually came to the conclusion that dropping 2 nukes on a country was more humane than trying to invade or just continuously carpet bombing the country into
They
submission.
needed a one-shot kill that was just going to tell them, you've got no chance,
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
stop.
Yeah.
It was Big Brother
So-
coming in and say, you're
Yeah.
done.
So then why did they come to that conclusion? Because the country was so nationalistic and so up there.
Plus, they used radiation. Like, the bombs
Yeah.
left horrible radiation, which
Yeah.
is...
Hydrogen.
No, hydrogen is what we use now.
Yeah.
But
then it was-
they used...
Something else. Atomic.
They used the one atomic, which
Right.
was radiation based.
Yeah.
Now we use hydrogen, which doesn't leave radiation behind.
It just
Yeah.
destroys everything
It
and
just
melts
destroys everything.
everything.
But back then, the radiation was,
Yeah.
that shit lasts.
Yeah.
It doesn't go away.
He's still feeling the effects now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
60 years, 70 years later.
So then that brought me to another thought, actually. To what extent can the actual citizens, be held responsible for the country's actions during wartime?
Well, if you want to look at Germany as the example, they were nationalized, but a lot of them had they say, the nationalized Germans that were in the Nazi party and actively, fervently National Socialists were aware of the greater agenda and whatever.
Yeah.
Then you got the citizens that just saw a leader who was doing good things for the nation.
Kind
trying
of
to-
brainwashed.
Yeah. It was
Yeah.
propaganda. It was a big propaganda reel. The big excuse the Nazis gave, at the Nuremberg trials, actually not all of them, half of them did. Half of them repented
Just
and
did
said,
what they
we're
were
just
told."
following orders. We
Yeah.
had no idea. We couldn't stand. Like you saw in the denazification camps when they were playing the reels of Auschwitz and all that, Germans are horrified. Like, man, we never saw this. We had
Yeah.
no idea.
Yeah.
Then you had the ones that didn't repent. That's something I was reading about last week too, last 2 weeks. The Nuremberg trials. Who was actually on trial? So many of them were like, nah, their last words before they were hung or shot were like, long live Germany, blah, blah, blah,
Hitler,
blah, blah.
yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it depends.
I think
Look,
with
do you
Germany, that's a
agree-
very unique situation.
Let me ask you a question. Do you agree with the Palestinian flags being flown in Fed Square? Right now, if you go down Fed Square, there are Palestinian flags being flown.
While he thinks about it, I'll answer. No, but I also don't think that either flag should be flown.
100%.
I think once you take a stand on which side you're standing with, it's become way too political. We don't have a stand. We don't have a say. That's not our fight.
If pro-Palestinians or pro-Israelis want to protest and make a mark, cool. Book your date like you
That's
normally
their-
would.
Yeah.
Make your march, have it secluded, sectioned off,
Yeah.
make your stand, be heard.
Peaceful.
putting up a flag in Fed Square implies support by the locals and the government.
Exactly.
I don't fucking support it. So why the hell is this flag being flown a cape from my house?
Yeah.
You want to have like I said, have a pro-Palestine rally. I don't give a shit. Do it. Book it with the council so everyone knows there are no casualties.
They put up both flags.
Yeah. But you can't
Don't just pick one.
Have both up there and a message that says peace.
Peace, yeah. Peace in the Middle East.
Whatever. That's fine.
Yep.
But the second you're imposing support on me, who I pay taxes to the local council. That's not fair. Because then what's stopping me from putting an Israeli flag on my balcony?
And then getting told off for it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's pro this, pro that. It goes, well, hang on, man. You're flying the other flag just down the street. I didn't agree to that. I vote. We didn't have a vote on it.
Yeah.
Who voted to have the Palestinian flag up there?
Is it actual council that has the flag up?
Go to Fed Square.
Yeah.
Who owns Fed Square? It's not a private organisation. It's Fed
Council.
Square.
It's a council. Yeah.
Yeah.
And they've got flags up, just Palestinian flags.
Yeah. They were up there.
Local council, though, has been very ESG as well, hasn't it?
Yeah. Yeah.
Depending on which local council. Yeah.
But that's the point. I agree with what you're saying. At what point? What do you think? Actually, I don't agree with anything. You haven't actually made your point yet.
About what?
At what point are citizens responsible for the actions of the government?
That's the hard thing. I think it depends.
No,
it finally fell. It's mine
it felt when I walked in here today, it had fallen.
It's mine.
Fuck off. You want to fight for it? TLC match.
Done.
Best 2 out of 3. You look like such a dickhead.
You think you know me? He's here.
Like the use of the movement, the motion.
Look, it's hard to say. No, that's what I mean. I'm trying to. Those are the two things I've been trying to wrap my head around for the last couple of weeks. Is like, is there such a thing as a war crimes during war? We've been told yes, and I would think it would be yes. But during wartime, anything should be able to go, so you can also win.
I think morally, from a civilian point, yes.
But then,
well, it's like shooting medics on the field. You're not meant to shoot
You're not
medics.
meant to, yeah, exactly. But then
medics will help both sides.
Yeah,
medics won't have a gun on them to shoot others, even if they've got enemy soldiers in front of them that are hurt. Their key thing is to pull them in and keep them alive, even if they kept this.
Well, that's what would happen in World War One. Like the dudes at night would go out to try and pull out the wounded soldiers, and they just get shot.
Yeah,
like these are medics. Just leave them. They're just trying to pull them out.
At the same time, it doesn't really make sense.
What?
Because you're going there to kill people. You're going there to prove a
medics
point.
don't.
No, I understand that, but medics are coming from one side. It just doesn't make sense.
It's genuine. It's traditionally, historically, with wounded people, you usually let them live. Like you let them get treated. We're not talking about ancient warfare where they then, once they've won the wounded on the floor, they just go finish them off.
John, when was World War One?
110 years ago.
That's ancient history.
No, it's not.
Okay, hang on. We're in the same conversation tonight. We've been disregarding things like the white-only policy in Australia, which was still in effect in the 60s, early 70s, which affected my parents, would have affected yours as well. Mm-hmm. But World War One, which was 60 years earlier, that's not ancient history?
No. Because ancient is considered like ancient.
Okay, but what I'm saying is policies, we're overlooking policies that were still in effect 60 years ago.
It's just history, yeah.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is we're overlooking policies that were still in effect 60 years ago, which haven't been addressed properly, but you're telling me that we can't overlook things that happened 100 years ago.
As opposed to what? Like what's happened in the 60s?
What I'm saying is killing medics in World War One. I feel like we've progressed from there. We shouldn't be going back to killing medics.
Yeah, I agree.
But that would be a war crime. But he's saying is that because it seems right to us because of how we've been conditioned in this day and age. War is war. You go out there to win.
Yeah, but
whether you're a medic, a foot soldier, or a child running across the road during a gunfight, someone's going to die.
I mean, a child shouldn't be in the middle of a gunfight.
You've hit a lot of points there. I'm going to build on what you just said, but you hit a lot of points there, and I'll address all of them, right? Number one, World War One was considered the Great War to end all wars. They never foresaw World War Two.
Wait, before you continue.
They actually did foresee it at the end of World War One.
Let's put a hypothetical out there. You're a soldier. You're in war. right? Shit's blowing up around you. There's bullets flying around you. Shit's going on, right?
Yeah.
You see an opposite soldier across from you. He's dragging a body. You don't know if he's got a gun or not. You know he's the enemy. You shoot. Correct or not?
You don't know if he's an enemy.
No, you know he's an enemy because he's wearing the colours of the enemy.
Yeah.
But
Well,
you don't know
medics
if he's
carry
got a
guns anyway.
You don't know if he's got a gun that he's going to
Medics
use.
carried
You don't
guns.
know if he's a medic for sure. You don't know. You just see your enemy in front of you. There's shit everywhere going on. There's broken buildings. And
Yeah,
fucking,
yeah, I got it.
right. What do? Do you shoot or not?
Obviously. I'm not disputing that.
That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
It's war. You're not going to stop and be like, he's helping someone that I
But see,
just
that's
killed.
the thing, right? That's why child soldiers was such a fucking deviation from the script. You can't. A grown man can't shoot at a kid that just looks unarmed.
Yeah.
But they were using I mean, the Third Reich used
Yeah.
child soldiers when they ran out of everyone else. Then you go to Somalia, you go to
They've
Sarajevo.
I was going to say in the Middle East they've been used.
Well, I just said,
Yeah.
like you go to Somalia, Sarajevo, or anywhere where there's civil war, there's rife. They're using child soldiers because
Yeah.
A, they've got no one left, and B, it's such a mind fuck.
It's morally difficult
Yeah.
to shoot a kid.
Same with women.
Have you ever done any reading on Janissaries?
Janissaries.
Yeah.
Well, it sounds familiar, but
They were Ottoman soldiers.
okay.
They were like the personal guard to the
Sultan or whatever.
the vizier, whoever
Yeah.
the leader of was of the emperor, the Khan. The Khan. Go home, do a bit of reading on that. That's interesting. They were children taken from Christian families, raised up as child soldiers into
Ottoman.
basically Ottomans, raised up in Ottoman tradition, raised up as Muslims, converted, and then forced as basically the elite unit of the emperor's guard. They were raised as children into adult soldiers. Read into it. That's a really interesting
The only
thing.
reason I bring it up is because we see a lot of when cops get into these very rare but strange altercations with like people who either have a knife or a gun and they're trying to take control of the situation. They end up shooting and then they open a whole investigation about it, and sometimes they even get punished for shooting the person. Like, that seems so far-fetched to me that a person whose job is to protect the community and their number one priority is to disable the threat in front of them so that they don't go out and stab or kill other people around them, they'd get punished for that under those conditions of like high intense, threats. But in wartime, you can't even begin to imagine how you can keep yourself calm.
Wartime is sanctioned murder, basically.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
It's just sanctioned, government-sanctioned murder.
But what I'm saying to your point of this whole war crime thing is like, it can't exist. Morally, we think it exists because we're not standing in the trenches, getting shot at and blown up and shit. But during wartime, if I was in war, the only thing I'd be thinking about is how to get out of it, how to survive and live tomorrow.
I suppose
I
the
don't
thing
care
is-
about kids at that point. I don't give a shit.
I suppose going down as short, like as low, like as far down as like individual soldiers, that's dealing with very specific situations, like
What about
shooting at
drone attacks?
drone attacks. All right, they're like 50% hit strike rate. Majority of them are always civilians that are killed.
Yeah.
Therefore, Obama's like the biggest war crime criminal in the world in human history. All right, he's not held accountable for that.
Yeah.
Just brushed under the rug and moved on to the next administration.
Yeah.
But the point is, it's like that, but like down to the level of the individual soldier shooting Afghani tribe leaders. Because they thought they were under threat. They just execute them. That happened with that what was his name? The Roberts, that Australian soldier that looks like a giant.
Can't
Like,
remember.
that's what they accused him of. He took him to court because they basically, spoke crap. He couldn't prove that they were talking crap.
Yeah.
He couldn't prove that he killed them or he didn't kill them. So, and he lost the case. I think he lost the case, didn't he?
I can't remember. Man.
Yeah. So it's like the war crimes are more held accountable to the people in power.
Yeah,
the,
of course,
the officers, the generals, the ones who
Yeah.
make the big decisions. Do we use gas? Do we start dropping mines? Do we execute this area?
Yeah.
Then you look at World War II. There's no longer a city called Dresden, is there?
Yeah.
That was the English, though.
But that's also the people you should be blaming at that time. So, I mean,
But what I'm getting at is like they justified it. The city no longer exists. Everybody died.
Yeah.
It was carpet bombed, whatever it was, completely gone. I heard. So, like, is it I don't know. It's just something that you got to mull over because is it a matter of like, yes, there is, or no, there isn't? Like, I don't know. But then that's what then tacked on to that other thought. It was like, well, then to what extent do you hold the citizenry responsible? If they're not experiencing the war for themselves, they have an appetite for war.
Yeah.
If the war is brought to their front door, will that appetite still be there?
You saw that in America with when Nam was going on, especially in the Gulf. Nam. When they're talking about conscription, we need to send people over there and kill these pinko communists, blah, 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 blah. They're the biggest draft dodgers in the world. No way they're going to send their sons over to Vietnam. So they sent, all the African Americans and degenerates and people that couldn't get jobs. We're not going to send corn-fed boys from Wyoming. We're going to send all.
So you're saying that's why they lost?
No, I'm not saying that's why they lost. I'm just making a point. Of
They were just trying to hit ESGs back
It
then.
was ESGs.
The biggest Republican warmongers, supporters of the war, would never allow their sons to go over there personally, and they were the biggest draft dodgers.
Yeah.
I was going to bring up, we're talking about war crimes, right? And so far it's been all about, like mass carpet bombing and blah, blah, blah. What about like rape?
It's considered,
That's considered a war crime during war. I was going to bring up the My Lai.
Well, because what does rape do for survival? It's
Okay.
not.
Well,
it's just people being pieces of shit.
Hang on.
No,
hang on.
Hold on. You missing it.
I think of the My Lai massacre, and I think of the rape of Nanking in China. So one was by the Sino-Japan War, one atrocities committed by Japanese, and the My Lai massacre was the Americans in Vietnam. Basically just raised a village out of nowhere. Mass mutilations, rape of kids, even 12-year-olds, torture.
Well, again, that's not war. That just sounds like colonization.
It was during the Vietnam War.
There was Americans onto them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think, look, hang on. My Lai.
I mean, I'm not justifying it at all whatsoever.
Okay,
but like historically, that was what was like your
raising land, man, just destroying morale and brute force like takeover.
Oh, like in that sense.
Wait, you saying raise or rape?
No, rape. Dude, here.
Where's the rape coming into this?
Okay, the My Lai massacre, all right? This is what I'm talking about. A war crime committed by the United States Army personnel on the 16th of March, 1968, involving the mass murder of unarmed civilians in the Son Tin district of South Vietnam during the Vietnam War. Between 347 and 504 civilians were killed by U.S. soldiers by Company C, 1st Battalion, blah, 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 blah. Victims included men, women, children, infants. Some of the women were gang raped and their bodies mutilated. Some soldiers mutilated and raped children who were as young as 12. It's the largest publicized massacre of civilians by U.S. forces. Listen to this. 26 soldiers were charged with criminal offenses. Only the platoon leader, right, was convicted, found guilty of murdering 22 villagers, originally given a life sentence, but served 3.5 years under house arrest when Nixon commuted his sentence. Dude, it was literally just a village during the Tet Offensive, right, when the Viet Cong attacked during Tet, right, which caught everyone off guard. Fucking brilliant. They tried to secure some village, right, and then they planned to engage and destroy the remnants of the 48th Battalion of the Viet Cong. The colonel urged his officers to go in there aggressively, close with the enemy, and wipe them out for good. And then he reportedly ordered them to burn their houses, kill livestock, destroy food, walls, all that sort of shit, right? Because the Viet Cong it was guerrilla warfare. They were hiding with civilians, all that sort of shit. Sorry, man. I just want to finish this.
No,
right?
right, go for it.
On the eve of the attack, the captain told his men that nearly all the civilian residents of the hamlets in the Son Mai village would have left for the market by 7 a.m. and any remained would be most likely VC or VC sympathizers. So he was asked whether the order included the killing of women and children. Those present later gave differing accounts regarding the response. Platoon leaders testified that the order, as they understood them, were to kill all VC and North Vietnamese combatants and suspects, quotation marks, including women and children, as well as all animals, burn the village, pollute the wells. He was quoted as saying, "They're all VC, now go and get them." And then was heard to reply to the question, "Who is my enemy?" by saying, "Anybody that was running from us, hiding from us, or appeared to be the enemy. If a man was running, shoot him. Sometimes even if a woman with a rifle was running, shoot her." And one of the witnesses testified that this guy instructed everyone to just destroy everything in the village that was walking, crawling, or growling. They entered the village and it was a free fire zone. artillery, just burnt it to the ground. Women and children just massacred, raped. Like the pillar just raised it, man.
Mm-hmm.
On what grounds, man?
How long after was this? After the Tet attack?
Hang on. The Tet offensive was in January 1968. This was in It was in March. 2 months later.
The thing that we don't realise is the same thing like when the Russians turned the tables on the Germans, all right? They turned the tables on them, and then they were fighting back towards Germany. The amount of frustration... I'm not justifying it at all in any sense, but the Russians dealt with the amount of frustration, the shame you can say, the embarrassment, everything that the Germans were doing to their women, to them as well, massacring villages, raping all the women to death, whatever, all right? As soon as the tables got turned, Russians did the exact same thing as they made their way into Germany. Majority of the German women, I would assume, a very high percentage of them, would have probably been raped. The ones that survived would have to live with that the rest of their lives as well. Now, this thing that happened there, could there have been a build-up of frustration of having, experienced that offensive? In war, frustrations build.
Yeah, I get it. But so with this situation, they enter the village expecting to find VCs, and they don't.
No, and they just massacre everyone.
GIs found women, children, and old men, many of whom were cooking breakfast over outdoor fires. The villagers were getting ready for a market day, and at first did not panic or run away, as they were herded into like common space areas, right, and just like put into groups. Then all of a sudden, without warning, just start blowing, like literally blowing people apart, man, pushing people into wells and just throwing grenades in. There was 15 to 20 people, mainly women and children, kneeling around a temple, burning incense and praying and crying, just blasted. It's like, what are you doing, man? Clearly, there are no VCs. These are all civilians, villagers.
Well, you can't prove that, though.
All right,
can't prove that there weren't VCs.
Well, they did in the aftermath. They're rounding up bodies. It's just
It's not like they carry ID cards saying, I'm not VC or something.
These people were praying, crying, and kneeling, dude.
So do VCs. Don't they? God. Do they not?
Okay, but I'm pretty sure you don't need to raise and rape and mutilate 12-year-old girls to prove that they're not VCs, man. To a point, like, seriously.
That's human trash. Like, that's a whole
human trash.
thing.
What I was going to say was, like, Dim was saying, like, rape, all right? And, like, raising and all that stuff. Those were considered the spoils of war up until about 150, 200 years ago.
Yeah.
Up until basically...
Barbarian warfare. Rape, pillage, and kill.
Yeah. Up until about basically World War One.
This is the late 60s, though.
Have you seen how much money gets poured into OnlyFans?
Oh, yeah, 100%. We sold that dignity a long time ago.
Exactly.
Yeah. Why you still got that belt around you, man?
It's on the chain.
You can't see me.
Talking about pillaging. Talking about pillaging.
Okay. So glad I brought it up. Yeah?
This month, free on Game Pass is Valhalla. AC Valhalla.
I started playing that.
Free?
On Game Pass. I told you I'll gift it to you. You said no.
Playing it.
I don't want it.
Do you want my Xbox and you can play it?
No chance.
Why?
I don't drink from the poisoned well.
This one's fanboy. I don't know. For you restricting yourself.
It's actually not a good game.
No.
It's
Everyone
very
passed
bad.
over
The
it.
AI is terrible.
Do you know what I'm most disappointed about?
What?
What is it? What game is it?
What do you mean?
What do you play as in that game?
Oh, a woman.
No.
A Viking.
You can play as a woman.
Yeah.
Okay. You're a Viking. You literally play the invasion of the British Isles. Okay. You go to England from Norway. They teach you how to raid. In the very first raid, I'm running up this mound. I'm like, all right, cool. You're fighting soldiers. There's a couple priests. Let me shoot one in the head with an arrow. Doink. Do not kill civilians, otherwise you'll be desynchronized.
Oh, yeah, I saw that.
I'm
Yeah.
that is crap. I'm literally a
Vikings
Viking.
did not give a shit.
I am literally a Viking, and you're penalizing me for killing a civilian.
I got that.
You lost me already.
It's just a bad game, though.
I think
It's
it was
a
a
bad
bad
game.
time to do it as. Like, you shouldn't be doing Vikings. All the other eras, you played as like a nobleman or something, or, in Egypt you were like a dude, so you were kind of like a secret agent type dude, weren't you? Like part of an order, like a secret guard, like a guard type dude.
Which one?
You were like a hunter in Origins.
Origins?
Yeah, you're
In
like
Origins,
a hunter dude.
You were Bayaka Siwa.
Yeah, but you were like a hunter, like
Some local nobleman, but like not esteemed. It
like
was,
a hunter, like
yeah.
a hunter, not a gatherer, but like a dude that like a secret little, like a witcher basically, like
Yeah,
out in the
yeah.
wilds
Yeah.
on your own, secret. Like there's only like 20 of
Yeah.
yous, you know. So you're like that. In Odyssey, you're like the son of a
You're
Spartan.
descended from Leonidas. He
Yeah,
was your
yeah.
grandfather.
Yeah, yeah, so-
Like, you don't know it.
No.
You got thrown away as a kid.
Did you finish that?
No.
Okay.
But yeah, you
In
A
Yes.
lot better than Valhalla, though.
In Valhalla, you're just like the son of a Viking leader. The difference is you're playing as a Viking. In that one, you're like an order based character. In this, you're literally
a bare bone, like a
A bare-
basic ass grunt.
yeah. You should be able to do that. As soon as that happened, I was like, yeah, I don't know how much longer I'm going to play this until I basically get bored, and then that's it.
ESGs, John.
ESGs, it is.
It was just a
Ubisoft should literally be the second line when it's describing ESGs in the like in the dictionary.
It's a bad game.
It's a suspension of disbelief.
I'm so
John.
disappointed.
What the civilian thing? I accidentally hit one, and I got that, and I was like, "What?"
But do you know what the irony is? I was watching a video about this sort of stuff. Grand Theft Auto. Why can you kill anyone?
Why
Can you?
Yeah.
Because they're just in the sandbox world.
Why do we accept, this is what the whole video was about, why do we accept mass murder on a huge scale in GTA type games,
Because you're a criminal.
but in like Valhalla, in, other games that are more isolated, why is killing indiscriminately frowned upon?
Isn't that just based on the company
Yeah.
behind it?
No, but even the emotion
But even
behind your
Rockstar,
choices.
Rockstar's been infected too
Okay,
now.
it's like Red Dead, yeah? I mean, you played Red Dead for as much as you did. Did you play honorably or dishonorably?
Both, depending on how I felt at the time. You juggle between the two.
Yeah.
I'm feeling a little bit frisky. I feel like a stagecoach here.
Every now and then, I'd be riding along on the horse. This guy just pissed me off, man.
Yeah.
Just because he'd be like, "Hey, watch it."
You're like,
You fuck off, idiot.
You're riding past, like, how you going, partner? Or whatever you did.
It's like, yeah.
And then you do it again. It's like, mind your own business.
Yes.
Excuse me.
That's exactly what it is.
Pull out the shotty.
Fuck did you say to me?
Right up.
boy. Legit.
Yeah.
The psychology behind why mass murder in LA is fine.
It's LA. It's
But
crap.
Red Dead, because it's so isolated and it's a lot more driven on character and all that sort of shit, you honestly do feel different, like doing indiscriminate killing.
It's also like individual story building for characters,
Yeah.
right? GTA, most of the characters are fodder.
yeah, no, they're just NPCs.
They're copy-pasted.
Yeah,
Your
copy-pasted
character's
NPCs.
scum in
Yeah.
GTA anyway.
Yeah.
But
All
when
the
you start building character, building emotion toward, it becomes way harder to kill someone
But
off.
I'm just saying, with the Vikings,
Yeah. They're all animals. Like,
Vikings-
all the characters you meet are just scum.
by nature, we're literally the most bloodthirsty warriors of the Norse region.
I only started playing it because I actually wasn't going to install it because I've actually started reading a book about the Normans.
Did you see the fuck up they did in the beginning before?
Of what?
You couldn't install the game in English. They removed English.
Why?
Why?
When they brought it out on Xbox Game Pass,
Yeah.
like day one,
Yeah.
I was like, oh, all right, great. I never got to play it. I'm going to install it.
Yeah.
No English. They brought it out with every other language. It wasn't English. No one could install it.
Oh, that was just a fuck up.
Oh, how do you fuck that up?
No, that's what I'm saying. It was just a fuck up.
What was it,
wasn't-
default language?
It was set
Scandinavian.
to
Probably Finnish.
some Arabic.
Oh,
Yeah.
Follow the money. Follow the money trail. So, I've been reading a book on the Normans, which is actually quite pretty interesting. Basically, Vikings that settled in France and then had a big influence over all of Europe's formation, kingdoms and everything. But I forgot what I was going to say now. Starfield. So, did you play You played Starfield, yeah? Traditionally, Bethesda games, you could play any way you wanted and you weren't penalized.
Very sandboxy.
Very sandboxy. You could play. You played, Fallout.
You make your own choices.
You pick your companion. This companion dislikes that. All right, piss off. Let me find a companion that likes what I just
You
did.
want to slaughter a town? Slaughter a town.
yeah, I did
Yeah.
that with what's his name? Preston something.
Garvey.
Yeah,
Nobody likes him. He disliked everything.
I left him alone. Like I did what he wanted me to do, and then eventually started making these selfish decisions. Like, fuck you, man. I start
Yeah.
my own town. So
Yeah.
I literally just fucked off.
Starfield's hot rubbish.
Starfield. Every companion was a Preston Garvey.
No.
There was no neutral or bad companion that would just approve of villainous things. So everyone was like, why is that? ESGs. Basically, they're trying to peddle like a feel-good game. So everything you do is like reinforced.
I'm a winner!
They want good decisions.
How can you
know?
have a feel-good game when it's a game based on violence?
Starfield's not necessarily
Well,
like a full
not
violence.
Starfield,
Yeah.
but like I'm just saying, like the next Fallout that they make. How can ESGs take over?
Well, look, I think if the next game that's coming out is
Forspoken is a good example of this.
yeah,
Forspoken was like heaps of hype behind
Square
it.
Enix or Ubisoft. No, Square Enix.
I think it was Square,
Yeah,
but under maybe like Microsoft's guidance or something. I can't remember.
anything.
But man, like,
Microsoft
that-
is third under Ubisoft.
They
under
released
ESGs.
a lot of
Wait,
like graphic trailers and
This is your
stuff.
shit list of like ESGs.
Name a company. I'll tell you if it's ESG
John,
that was one of the
infested.
You
biggest
remember the
flops.
list in Billy Madison that the shooter had?
Oh, yeah.
John's going to have the same list one day. There'll be like a what's the E3? Is that what it's called? Yeah, there'll be an E3. Like a shot rings out, developer drops dead. There's John in the balcony with a bolt action rifle. Just scrubs the name on, puts the lipstick on, and then disappears. Anyway.
Yeah, it's just-
You were saying this
he's
game?
saying.
No, the game. You're talking about Forsaken?
Forspoken.
Forspoken, sorry. Yeah.
Yeah,
What
they
about it?
basically like to trick people. They released visual graphic trailers, no
In-game.
content or anything.
Yeah.
And then when the game came out, it was like woke as fuck, like right in your face. The character was annoying as hell. Typical like 18 to 20-year-old American like that you'd run into every day. Just absolute rubbish human being, no quality, like just annoying.
Yeah.
And it was just the worst. It was the biggest flop ever. It was an
It
absolute
flopped hard.
big flop.
So even Saints Row, traditionally Saints Row was made as a parody of GTA because everybody loved the GTA San Andreas, the gang wars in it,
Yeah.
the last bit where you got to fight for the turf wars, and that's what Saints Row started as. It was a parody.
Yeah,
Again, very
it was like the
sandboxy.
anti-hero.
It was very sandbox-
It was the anti-hero of GTA, like
Yeah.
just taking its own.
But it was all
going-
about the first one specifically was all about
Yeah.
the turf wars.
Yeah.
Then they built on that, and it just became a parody of itself. And like then you ended up being the president of America. Then the third one, you ended up being like in hell, and you got to come out of hell and whatever. It was they're just all over the place.
Ridiculous.
Fantastic, yeah, ridiculous, but really, really good, based off GTA gameplay, open world sandbox.
And
everything. Then they took a break. They decided to re-release it, make it. Andy, what was your just say? What did you say?
They
For
had
they
to-
decided to make it woke as
they tried to hit those ESGs.
the E's and the S's and the G's.
ESGs. How many?
Yes.
We hitting those marks, boys? Or?
Just
We
ESGs.
need to give her a half moon hairstyle where we shave one side of the hair
Fully shaved.
and we have it cropped to the other side.
Now we're thinking green or purple hair.
I think purple with highlights
highlights.
of possibly blue or red.
And we need to give her a girlfriend. What are we thinking here?
Indigo.
We're gonna make
Her
it
name's
half-
Indigo.
The name is Indigo. I do like that, but I'm thinking we make it half Filipino, half possibly Mexican, something like that. We want her to be kind of cultural neutral. We don't know what she is.
Thinking a bit of a Native American feel to it.
Yes.
Why do they have Australian accents?
Redfall.
Because as much as Aussies like to crap bag America, Australia is heading down that
Oh,
route.
definitely. Yeah.
As much as we bag American politics, we bag American culture, everything, Australia is a 1-to-1 ratio mimic of it.
Yeah, we're like the shitty little brother.
Yeah.
Just trying
And
to
we
copy.
are lapping up the woke ideology like you wouldn't believe.
Yeah.
Lapping it up.
half Filipino, half Mexican. Wasn't the Battlefield like that?
Yeah.
They brought out the snipers that weren't ever women,
Yeah.
and then they made them like colourful and shit. Battlefield 1 was so good.
Yeah.
So good.
I go back and just watch that trailer sometimes. It's so good.
Yeah, I was watching the story arc. You know, the one of the sniper.
Yeah.
I was watching that story arc for a bit, like just like clips. So the Gallipoli, it was a Gallipoli story. So inspiring.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll
good.
maybe I'll recycle that for Australia Day. That'd be pretty good.
What were you saying?
Some game.
Redfall.
Redfall, yeah, that died in the arse too, didn't it?
Another
But
flop.
that wasn't even ready.
It wasn't ready, but it was woke as hell. It was
Oh, was
annoying.
it?
It was really difficult to sit through.
Companies are making woke games and they're just dying. Nobody's buying them. They're just dying in the arse. Saints Row ended up becoming free on Epic a year late after release.
Yeah, that's
A year. That doesn't happen.
That's really bad.
It's disgusting.
I was going to say, it's 20 to 11.
Yeah.
You haven't eaten.
No.
Is it 20 to 11?
Yeah.
There's a Twinkie.
Nah.
We still, nah. We still didn't do our action heroes.
Brackets, you fuck.
There's no way.
There's no way.
We've been going for like.
I've got work.
All right, the final is Arnie versus Sly. Who's the winner?
I'm not forcing this. Fuck off.
Nah.
I want a fucking session on it.
I was thinking about it, like, on the way here. I was mentally preparing for it. And I'm like, what are we actually basing it on? And I thought, kill count, guns, artillery used, settings, the quality of the movie itself, or just the character
I
itself?
feel like we haven't discussed it
or
enough.
the actor. Which are we looking at the actor?
Yeah.
And the roles they've played.
Yeah.
And the influence that they've had. All right, cool.
There's
I feel like
a culmination of
I
it.
feel like Malaka should be brought in for this in the sick country that he brings to the table. That'd be brutal, though. It'd turn into a yelling match.
It's already going to be one.
Yeah, bad. Anyway, all right, so we need to reconvene
We need a session on it.
for the bracketsy now.
Yeah.
I mean, we can just leave it till next time.
No, we're not doing
Oh,
it
no,
now.
no. We're reconvenient next
Time. We're not
Oh,
doing
yeah,
it
yeah,
now.
obviously, yeah.
It's nearly 11. I've got to be up at 8 to go to work tomorrow. So,
I'll be
Are you
sleeping
getting up at 8?
yeah.
Yeah, I got to get up at 7.
No, like, I need to be moving at 8 o'clock
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
to start sorting the day out. It's fucked. You know DJ City shut in Oakley?
Oh, really?
That place was an institution, man.
I can't even believe it's still open.
No,
What was
I was going to stop there on the way here to
Is
pick
it
something
shut
up.
or they just closed for Christmas?
Permanently closed. And then off the website, everything. That was the best one out of all of them.
People weren't buying enough keyboards.
Keyboards.
Electric ones.
What keyboards? Anyway, yeah, fuck.
They didn't have enough people doing the chopsticks song enough.
Sandstorm. Sandstorm. You're such a dickhead. What are you, Darude or something? Who says that? No, anyway. I don't know when fuck, my eyes are stinging me. I don't know when we're going to do these bracketsy now. I don't want to drag it out another 2 months, man.
People don't know. They just sprung it on them.
Yeah.
That'll be standalone, though, because that'll be a yelling match.
Sure.
Oh, absolutely.
All right, so we can agree the next session will be a bracketsy, and unless something major happens,
Yes, it may or may not be.
Something big would need to come up.
something
that, yeah.
big. But we can say it now. The next session will be. This was 4 hours for fuck's sakes.
Was it?
Yes, it was 4 hours.
Almost
Running time is 4 hours.
Yeah, but
and
we
6
started.
minutes.
We got here at 6.
Oh no, we got here at 6.
Yeah.
We're saying 4 hours.
I got here at
running
6:30 and then ate a chicken and salad roll.
time. And you've got the balls to have your feet up on my seat with the belt strapped around you.
Like a champ. You think you know me?
Hold up.